Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and today's video. So the Swedish word of the day is pineapple, which is in Swedish ananas. Ananas. So in today's video I thought that I would use this palette once again. This is a brand new and I could use something else, but I really want to use this palette today. I will pop on the screen 3 other looks that I have done with this palette. I've used this like for 3 days straight. I'll also link to my first video right up here in case you wanted to watch that after this video, in case you have this palette and you wanted to see more looks, because I do have another video. Don't forget that you can subscribe to my channel. It is, I know, but it is free. I don't take any money from it. Okay, come. I think I'm gonna start off with the shade Blend and Snap, which is this beautiful pink shade. I've used this before and I've gotten some questions about the colors. So in my first makeup tutorial that I did with this palette, we used the blue as a liner, or you know, as a wing. After just a little bit of time, that actually turned gray. So I remember I was at work and I was going to wash my hands or something, and it was just gray. I don't know what's up with that, but what I will say is that I've seen a lot of people, I've heard about a lot of people who have used this palette and they cannot blend out the shadows or something like that. And I just want to make it perfectly clear that this is a pressed pigment palette, and every time you're working with eyeshadows, you need to use an eyeshadow primer and not a concealer. And especially when using a pressed pigment palette, because when using a pressed pigment, it's extra important to use an eyeshadow primer. So if you're using concealer as a base, that could be a reason why your palette is not really working for you, which is so sad because it's a beautiful palette and I would love for everyone to be able to use this palette. But that is just a little tip from me. And a concealer is a little bit more hydrating, so you have a lot of oils on your lids and you have a lot of oils that is gonna peek through during the day on your lids. So if you're using an concealer that's already hydrating, it's just not gonna be good at all. So a primer, definitely an eyeshadow primer. I love the Maybelline eyeshadow primer one. Some people think that it's too dry, so you can go ahead and buy another one, but just use an eyeshadow primer, please. Now I'm gonna take the purple, and that is this one. The first time I used this palette, I also used the red, and I gotta say, I really liked it, but I didn't want it to be too red, so I actually mixed the red with the shade Basic Trout, or Toot, I don't know. I don't speak Dutch. And I am just gonna take this also in my crease, and I'm gonna try and not take too much of it, because then I wanna take the blue in my outer corner, because I really want to see if the blue turns gray when you start mixing it as well, or start blending it, I mean. Because the last time I used the blue, I used it as a liner, so I just packed it on, and now I want to see how it blends. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you the blue. This is the one, and it's called Amsterdam. And I'm a little bit scared, but let's just do this. I mean, it's such a beautiful shade when you pack it on. I really like it, but I'm scared that it's just not really gonna blend. So I'm just starting off while packing it on. And I'm not gonna do too much with it. I'm gonna go back to the brush that we used before and just blend. Okay, I don't know how well you can see it, but it turns almost black. Like to this blackish gray, and it doesn't really well blend. Okay, I'm taking a little bit more of the shade Amsterdam just on the tip of my brush, because sometimes that helps to just apply a little bit of the shadow to blend it out when you put the shadow on the brush, instead of blending it, you know, when you have packed it on. But it definitely changed color, so it turns a little bit more gray. because you can see right here that here it's still pretty blue, but if I do this, that goes away. It reminds me of the blue in the Nabla Poison Garden palette, and you guys know I hated that. So I just went off camera a little bit to fix this eye, but also to blend a little bit. So what I did was that I took the purple and started blending a little bit with the blue, and then I took the pink and I started blending that out on both sides. I see on this side that it's not as even, so I'm just gonna add a little bit right here. I feel like this isn't really blended, so what I will do is that I will take a little bit of the shade Blend and Snap, add Basic Truth, and I will start blending them together a little bit. You guys know I hate lines, so I just kind of want to avoid that.
3 weeks later.
Beautiful. Okay, I have no idea what kind of shimmer I want to use. We used Pride in the last one. I kind of want to use the shade All In because I feel like that is so beautiful. It's this one right here, but maybe Mama Tutorials. I think I want to use All In actually. I have already used that before, but not in one of my tutorials. And I've gotten some questions if I can apply these with a brush, so that's what I'm gonna do. I recommend using a flat brush and then kind of dragging in the eyeshadow, tapping it off, and then just applying it. Like, these shimmers are insane. I kid you not. You will not find shimmers like this in any other palette, because these, I mean, I got a comment saying that saying that they didn't like the shimmers, and I felt personally attacked. Oi. Oi is oops in English, in Swedish I mean. As you can see, they apply beautifully. It's just I prefer to use my fingers, but now I have shown you that you can apply them with a brush. It's just that you need to use a very dense you need to use a very dense brush in order to do so. And then I'm gonna take the shade Ivy, which is this beautiful white color that is named after her dog. And then just taking this right here. Beautiful. I'm just gonna clean up some fallout and I will be right back. I did already prime before I went on camera, and I used my Illamasqua primer. Now I'm gonna take my It Cosmetics CC cream, which is actually almost empty. Well, it's close to being empty anyway. So I'm just gonna apply this to my skin. I don't know when you are going to see this video, because I have some other videos that I need to get up before this video, but I've gotten so many questions about like, when are you starting beauty school, or what happened to that? And as I said, I am a very spontaneous person, and that's something that I'm trying to control with my shopping or with everything in general. Like, if I want something, I want to do it now. So I decided, and I talked to Nicholas about this, and I decided that I would wait with makeup school for a month, just so I really thought about it and thought about if it was something that I actually wanted to do, or if it is something I just wanted to do in the spare of the moment. And all the time I have thought that yes, this is something I want to do, but I decided that I wanted to wait. So in the end of September I am going to purchase it. I have booked in like a weekend where I will have time. I bought all of the school books that I need and everything, like notebooks and everything, cute ones of course, because I am such a nerd. I love that. So it's not like I'm not starting makeup school, it's just that I really wanted to wait and be smart about it instead of just doing it now. And I have seen that some of you were super excited and some of you were a little bit more skeptical, which I totally understand, and it's nothing wrong to be skeptical or have criticism about anything. You guys gave me some really important notes or points that I looked up, and now I feel even more comfortable buying this education because I asked the owner that made this education, and I got answers to everything. So that's very good, because I wouldn't have asked those questions if you guys didn't bring it to my attention. So that's really nice, and I always thank you so much for being like, you know, wanting the best for me. That's like something that is super sweet of you guys. Like, I don't ever want you guys to be afraid to critique me or critique something I do, but it always comes down to how you say it. I've said this all the time for years now, that you can say whatever you want to a person, but you have to say it in the right way. And I feel like a lot of you guys have done that, and I'm so thankful. And it doesn't mean like, oh my god, I hate these comments. That's like, no hate, but you are fucking ugly. And I'm like, well, that's hate. Just because you write no hate doesn't mean that it's no hate. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna take my Maybelline concealer, and I'm just gonna take this under my eyes. Since I'm not going to work or anything like that, I am putting a little bit more concealer on than I usually do, and I just like to go in with my sponge. I have this in the shade Light. I'm just gonna apply it like this. Regarding the palette, I really like the palette. I think that the blue shadow is very, very tricky, and it's not my favorite shadow at all, and it's not a shadow that I would use very often, which is why it doesn't really matter to me, because I just don't really care about the blue. Like, yes, I could make it work today, and that's the most important thing. And I will have a picture, by the way, right here in case it turns gray during the day, because if it does that, it's basically unusable for me, because you guys know I hate gray eyeshadow. So I just did my powder off camera because I think it's so boring to watch someone do powder, and I actually powder way more than I usually do. So I powder here and here because the It Cosmetics CC cream is a little bit too dewy for me, so I like to just set it down, and then it's gonna be a little bit more glowy in the end of the day. But I feel like it's a little bit too, I look a little bit too greasy and oily if I don't go in with a lot of powder. Okay, now I want to do my under eyes, and what I want to do is that I want to start off with the pink shade, and I'm just gonna take this on the same fluffy brush that we used before, and this is the one we used in our crease. So we're just doing it like this, and we don't have to think about blending or anything. We just want to add the color on, and then we're gonna take the blue after that. So right now it's all about like placing the color. Then I want to take this shadow to apply the blue color, and I want to take the shade Amsterdam, which is obviously the blue color. Hello! And I'm just gonna start like almost packing it. Just to the half of my eye. I actually feel like this was okay to blend out here under my eyes, and I don't have any eyeshadow primer here, so that's neat. That was a surprise. I'm going back to this brush just to blend out the edges a little bit right here. And then, oh, sorry, here. I know maybe a lot of you guys expected me to use the green, but this green is just, it's not really my kind of green. I like a more true green, if you know what I mean. And then we're gonna take Ivy in our inner corner. This is just the perfect inner corner shade. This is not for anyone that likes just a little bit of a sheen, you know, because this is super intense. So I just went in with some mascara off camera, and recently I've been getting a lot of questions about which mascara I use. I've used the same one for years. It's this one. This is the Essence You Better Work Length Definition Mascara. They also have this one, which is the same one, but this has, no, this was also the length one. Sorry. They have one with volume as well, but I love the length one because I never curl my lashes because I have naturally curled lashes, but now it's being discontinued. You know, it's one thing that they discontinue my favorite lipstick, my favorite foundation and everything, but my favorite mascara, I cannot live without this. I need to go ahead and find another one, but the thing is that I don't want to. So I have ordered a lot of them to my house and I'm just waiting for them so that I can worry about that problem in a year or more. That's how it is. I'm gonna take my bronzer from Colourpop and Alexis Ren. This is also a limited edition and you cannot purchase this anymore, but since I have it in my collection, I wanna use it. And the highlight obviously is way too dark for me, so that one I never use. I could use it as an eyeshadow, but you know, let's be real, I have more eyeshadow palettes than I want to admit, so I would rather use my eyeshadows for my eyes. I'm thinking about doing like a discontinued, like my favorite makeup that they have discontinued, but I just feel like that video would be so heartbreaking. I loved the video that Samantha Ravndal did. I have watched that for like, I think I've watched that like 10 times. I don't know what it is about her and her videos, but I always love to watch her videos over and 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 over again because I think that they are just fab. Taking my Milk Makeup blush in the shade Rally, and I'm just gonna apply it right here. This is like my perfect everyday blush. I've been so into like purchasing some of their other blushes because they have gotten some blushes to Sephora, not now, but they have had them there for a while, and I've been so close to purchasing them so many times, but I feel like I don't really need them. Really trying to shop my stash, you know, and not purchase anything. But the thing is that I've had so many of these for such a long time and I haven't even worn off the dome because obviously you don't need a lot of product. So I just feel like it would be so unnecessary. And then a little bit on my nose, which I love. And then I'm gonna take my Pixi highlight. This is my favorite highlight in my entire collection. Spoiler, if you haven't seen my ranking all of my highlighters, I can link that video right up here if you wanted to see it, but this is just stunning. I'm gonna take my Jouer liquid lipstick in the shade Charmed, and then Ofra liquid lipstick in the shade Nude Potion. I am too lazy to straighten my hair. This is what it looks like. I just brushed it, put it up like this, and I feel like it has to be like this, okay? I like this makeup look. I feel like it is a colorful me without being like too out there. I know that this is too little of color for some and too much for some, but this is just me, okay? I gotta say, I still love this palette. Yes, it has some errors. For instance, the blue isn't my favorite. It's not probably a color that I would use that often. It has stayed blue anyway, but I think that it leans a little bit to going gray, but I don't know, we'll see. But the rest of the shadows I think are fabulous. The ones that I've used of the mattes, I've used all of the mattes except this blue, this yellow, and then the green. Out of the shimmers, I've used less there. Aura, Mama Tutorials, Underground, and My Tutorials. Mr. Tutorials, I mean. Or I've used Underground. I can't remember. But I've used them, and I think that definitely, like, the shimmers is what makes this palette. And again, I feel like I can do so many beautiful looks with this palette. The mattes and the jumbles and everything like that, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that I know it does for some that you only have certain mattes, and you know, I get to live my best life with this. I have my pinks and purples, I have the browns that I absolutely love, I have this beautiful orange which I think is so much fun, and then I have these amazing shimmers. So I recommend it, especially for the price. The one thing I will say is use an eyeshadow primer. This is the 4th time I've used this palette, and I'm gonna continue using it. I'm gonna continue using it because I love it and I think it's great. The blue, yes, that's an error. That's a shade that I wouldn't use too often, but today I really feel like it worked so much better. So yeah, that's all from me today, guys. Hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a little thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.